I think we look at it from that, for all those who are advocating for restructuring or regionalism, is an option to give regional government to and possibly be able to decentralize the center, which is very important. Because you can see that too much concentration on the center has not actually given us the required governance that is expected. So that was why you always see this advocacy coming. People are asking for restructuring, people are asking for regionalism. But the fear is that we don't know how the people, the region that is basically speaking against it, will able to embrace that, because it is going to go through some certain process in the Senate before it will be ratified. Then another factor is the president himself need to think to an extent, lobby to make sure that he has a collective support and endorsement towards that, because when he recently came up, we saw the reaction maybe from the northern senators that they actually kicked against it. And one of the service senators from the southwest also, even though they later discontinued or discredited that statement where he said that journalism will give Biafra and give the eastern region Biafra, and they might not be a weapon development to Nigeria. But that is, by the way, if it is reactivated and activated to an extent that it will accommodate some of the observations other people are having about regionalism, I think it will be a starting point, to see how they are going to get to having a better, government in that regard. Because the center we are seeing today is centralized, basically because of corruption. So I don't know how they're going to sort that out in the Senate. But for me, we need to understand and work it out. I don't know. I've not seen those documents anyway. But from what I'm getting is that the type of journalism, is it going to be with state or without state? That's another factor, And how is it going to be applied or processed, or how is it going to function? What are the modalities, that will be able to bring it to people's belief and understanding or anticipation that this is how this is where we're going to get it the way it is. But it's still a bill. It has not submitted it. Whether it's going to get through or not, is not still on our chessboard for me to say. They're still playing the game. But let us see how it will work. But for people who are actually not comfortable whether journalism or not, are still asking for sorry, are still asking for they have their own separate entity or sovereignty, giving some of the fears that is attached to the issue of restructuring. So it has been a wider campaign by some stakeholders that journalism should be looked into. And there's also the issue of the constitution, that's also still hanging here. So a lot of things. So let's see how that will go. If it gets through, I think it will be a starting point, to decentralize the already, government that are not able to produce the required dividend of democracy expected from Nigeria. And of course, the type of regionalism that we're going to talk about, is it going to be with states? That's another factor. For me, I would have suggested that journalism should go with states, so that we will not continue to run unnecessary funding, trying to decentralize the states in that regard. So every region should be able to have their state but under a regional system of government in states. I think that will be able to solve that issue, where we still retain. Then within themselves, they can decide, within the regional, demography. Let me put it that way. They can decide that, okay, we have looked at it. We can create more states. We can create more local government. Just to make sure that this thing get to the people, government get to the people, governance get to the people, leadership get to the people. People will have that sense of belonging. But how that is going to, work in the northern part of the country, where most of them are already kicking against regionalism, because regionalism is going to come with a sort of resource control, where people are going to have dominance of their own resources. It's going to be a real question mark for some northern governors or politicians who might look at it from that angle, that in as much as they are not contributing anything now to the national level, it will be difficult for them to cope. But the fact is that I always believe that necessity is the mother of invention. They can, at that point, look. I believe there are resources, that can be harnessed. They have overlooked over the years as a result of the crude oil factor, where oil well factor, where everybody is just giraffing and focusing on that is where they're going to be getting their location or whatever. But that's going to be a very big challenge. The Northerners need to understand that very well. They have enjoyed a greater part of support, from the resources of coming from the south, massively. And as I'm talking to you now, they don't have anything they are bringing to the table. And still upon that, if you look at the allocation of the income, of the revenue, they still enjoy up to 58%, more than the people that own those resources. So it's a matter of, they should just be able to know that it's not a matter of, this is not the time to be lazy. This is not the time to think. They need to really look inwards and begin to see how they are going to navigate and be able to sustain. The sustainability is going to be basically on how they are able to invent and reinvent the resources that are abundant in the north. And this issue of crude oil thing, will be a thing of the past for them. But anybody that has resources will be able to use these resources to benefit the people. That's what journalism is all about, and that's what we should do. And any further push, to jettison it or to kill such bill in the Senate might lead to people coming out to make it boldly that it is time that Nigeria go their separate ways, considering the fact that there is already deep reservations about the question of unity concerning how the South has been able to be provided for the North. At the end of the day, they do not have anything they can share of. In terms of local government, the South is talking about 375 or thereabout local government, where the North is talking about 419 local government. You can see the gap here. And still, the people who are having 315 or 75 or thereabout local government, have contribute more and take less. So there's no justice in that. There's no justice in that, and that has taken this country backward. And it's going to engineer a form of competition, where people will be struggling to make sure that they are not at the back. They will always be that fight, to be on top. It will generate and it will encourage competition. So it's a good one if it's very well handled. And secondly, if government takes it serious, it can be done. But the way they look at it, and we saw what happened under Jonathan 2014, where the whole thing will, at the end of the day, thrown to the dustbin. And I hope this one will not be, will not take a similar, direction. Well, let us see what will happen in that regard. But as it stands now, the Nigerian unity is still, a question of negotiability. Anybody that is telling you that Nigeria should not be negotiated does not actually mean well for this country.
All right, thank you very much.